So this game comes from the 12th century China, and it's a comment on the social structure of feudalism, and feudalism was in China a little bit longer than it was in Europe. And so what we have here is we have the feudal structure, and out in front we have the pawns, just the regular people, the peasants that did all the work for the people with power, and everything that they did would go back to the people with power. So when it was time to war, these were the first people to die. So, and because they were untrained, they can only move forward. And they were also untrained, so they can only kill diagonally because they don't have any skill, so they have to just do it sneaky sideways, try to kill somebody. But because they were also untrained, they did have some strength though, because they were out in the field, so they can move forward right there a bit further on their first move, but because they have no training, they can only do that one move. It's only one time that they can move like that, then they can only one at a time. And then the furthest away from the king and the queen, their outward defenses are the rook, the castle walls. That's their lateral defenses. You can go forward, back, side to side. And as we just discovered, the rook comes from the rookery, which would be where the pigeons and the ravens that carried the messages would come in and out of the castle. So that's why it's called the rook. And then from there we have the knight, the only trained fighters, the samurais, and they can jump over other players because they have training, so they can sneak around you and you don't even know where they came from, where they're going. They move in a certain way that no other players on the board can because they are the only trained fighters. And then the closest element to the power structure is the church, the representation of the church, the piece, the bishop. And they'd be right next to the king and queen, whispering in their ear because they sneaky like that. And also because they sneaky like that, they move sideways. So you don't know how they're gonna come and get you. So, because it's a sneaky element, it's not direct, it's indirect. They operate indirectly. And then here we have the queen, who is by far the most powerful piece on the board because it was the queen that held all the power. Can move in any way, forward, backward, side to side. She's got the most political maneuverability. That's who she is. And then here we have the king, because if you hold the king, you hold the power. So that's why the whole point is to put the king into checkmate, because whoever holds the king holds the power. You actually don't even want to kill the king, because a dead king is a king with no power. You want to keep that king alive, and you want to have power over him. So that is the whole point of the game, and that is how you win. And then there's this one cool sneaky thing that the king can do, which we see many kings do in feudalism and medieval times, is they will hide. So what the king can do is he can come outside of his castle. Kingside castle. So the castle flips around, and it might be something that can protect him, as we saw many times in the War of the Roses. A lot of people who were kings, they hid, they went away, they went into France into exile. So that's the structure of the game and how it comments on feudalism, Middle Ages, and what it was all about. And that's chess.
And that was Jack's interpretation of chess.
Yay!